What's up, everybody? My name is Joe Brown. This is the Heresy Financial Show, and there's carnage everywhere we look. Crypto is collapsing. We are seeing exchanges start to lay people off. We are even seeing things like Celsius has frozen withdrawals. We are seeing things, Celsius got wrapped up in the whole Luna Terra debacle there, and so we are seeing chaos everywhere we look with Ponzi schemes and scams and a collapse in prices of other assets everywhere we look. And so the big question is, if we're looking at Bitcoin, is now a good time to buy? Or if not, when is a good time to buy? How can we know that we are at or near a bottom and start to buy the dip intelligently instead of buying all the way down and losing more and more and more money? So in this video, I'm going to answer your question, how you can know exactly when to buy Bitcoin. Ready? Let's dive in. Real quick, today's sponsor is Swan Bitcoin. Buy when there's blood in the streets. You want to be dollar cost averaging on the way down, not on the way up. That means you are accumulating more of the asset with the same number of dollars you are putting in. And Swan Bitcoin is the easiest way to do that. They're the easiest, cheapest, and safest way to do that because you can also auto withdraw your Bitcoin to a wallet of your choice. And if you sign up for Swan Bitcoin with my link in the description below, you will get $10 worth of Bitcoin for free just for signing up. You know I'm a big fan of Bitcoin. You know I'm not a big fan of other cryptocurrencies. It seems as if really what has happened over the last couple of months has exposed how so much of the industry, cryptocurrencies, are just absolute hogwash, absolute garbage, Ponzi schemes, no utility, and they will not survive. Bitcoin is a completely different story. Take a look with me at this chart. We can see Bitcoin. This is a chart since the end of 2020 when we had the big bull run and it got up to this peak of $68,000 roughly. And we are now currently, as of the time of this recording here, sitting at above $22,000. And we briefly touched the $20,000 mark. When we look at the amount that the price has fallen so far, obviously it has fallen a lot. And so many people continue to buy every single month, every single week, every single day, regardless of the price, what the price does. Many people will continue to hold these coins forever until they're worth $1 million or more, or zero. You know, they'll never sell them. What we're seeing here is some capitulation from some short-term traders. We are seeing leveraged players getting squeezed out. We are seeing people having to sell because they need to pay their bills and they put more than they should have. And so what we are seeing here is a big transfer of ownership of Bitcoin from the weak hands to the strong hands. And I know bringing back some old terms that trigger some people, give some people some PTSD, but that's exactly what is happening here. Similar to stock markets long term, Warren Buffett says the stock market is a wealth transfer machine that transfers wealth from the impatient to the patient. But the question still remains, how do we know when a bottom is in? And many people were saying, technically speaking, Bitcoin would go to 20,000. When you look at the technical setup, as soon as it didn't continue that parabolic rise, right around 60,000, maybe 55,000, I'm not sure exactly when, but if it was going to continue going up, it should have continued going up around then, and it broke through. And so many people were saying after that, hey, we are entering into another Bitcoin bear market, and it'll go down to at least 20,000 from a technical perspective. Well, when we look at the chart, obviously we hit that. The problem is, look at how much that $20,000 mark is down from the top. We're down just about 70% from the top. That is a big drop. Absolutely. However, what is happening here at 20,000? We have some support right here in the end of 2020 where that was prior resistance there. And that was prior resistance from the prior peak in 2017 as well, when the price of Bitcoin got almost to 20,000. Apart from that though, with just the end of 2017 there and the end of 2020, there's not a whole lot of support there at $20,000. However, there is a lot of support down here at $12,000, because at $12,000, it was prior resistance here, it was resistance all throughout here, it was resistance all throughout here, and it was resistance all through here, and he even played some support back in here during the top of this bubble. So you might think, okay, well, is $12,000, is that just a good support line? Well, number one, yes, because if we break through 20,000, there's not a whole lot of volume anywhere until we get down to that 12,000 number. And so we have bounced off of 20,000 already. It is operating as support for us in the meantime right here. But if we do break below 20,000, there's really nothing stopping it all the way down to 12,000. 12,000 is that next strong support line. But is that it? Well, actually, no. Let's take a look at the past bear markets in Bitcoin to see how far Bitcoin has fallen from the top to the bottom every time we've entered a bear market. If we look at the last time, this was in 2018, the 2018 bear market. Look at that from the top to the bottom here. It fell about 84%. Let's go back even further to this bear market in 2014. Well, that was a little bit longer than just 2014. From the top to the bottom there fell about 86%. Let's look at this and the first bear market here, and this one was in 2013. From the top to the bottom fell about 76% there. And if we count this initial volatile drop here that happened initially, that was about 83%. Didn't spend too much time down there, but still, that's the actual bottom, I would say. Which means that the last few bear markets we've seen in Bitcoin have been 84 to 86% down from the top to the bottom. I wonder where an 85% drop would take us from the current top of 68,000. That'd be about 83% almost would take us to exactly 12,000, from the top to 12,000. When you take into consideration the fact that the Fed is still tightening aggressively and getting more aggressive every time they meet, when you take into account everything in crypto is collapsing, when you take into account the fact that every single bear market so far in Bitcoin has exceeded 82% and been a maximum of like 86%. And when you consider the fact that so far we have only fallen 70% from the high. And finally, when you consider the fact that so far at 20,000, there's not a whole lot of support there. It's not a really strong support and resistance line, but 12,000 is. My expectation is we will most likely fall to somewhere around 12,000. Now, if we do take this, because this is only 82.5%, so let's say this does go all the way to an 86% drop from the high, which is about normal, or at the peak, then this, if we match the biggest bear market to date in Bitcoin, that would take us to right here, just about $9,000. Now, obviously, you can have another bigger bear market than you've ever had before, so it could go lower than 9,000. Absolutely. So far, all the bear markets that it's had has been around there. Now you might think, okay, well, it doesn't have to get there, right? And you are absolutely correct, because just like the stock to flow model, it worked in terms of its predictive price power until everybody knew about it. And then it stopped working. Everybody was saying, it was like 120,000 from here. Everybody was expecting it would go from 68,000 to about 120,000 to complete the model, the pricing model that the stock to flow model suggested it should hit, and didn't work, right? Because once something gets well known enough, it starts to get priced in and it stops working. This happens all the time. This happened in the stock market. If you look at the S&P 500, I believe it was about 2012 through 2018. The most successful trading strategy was to buy market close and then sell the next morning. And you repeat that over and over, because it would go up overnight. It would gap up overnight more than it would go during the day. And on average, it would go down during the day. And so if you bought it close, market close, then you sold at market open the next day, you've outperformed the S&P 500 total return by like 2 or 3 times. But as soon as everybody started talking about it, that strategy evaporated and didn't work anymore, because you have more and more people trying to do that, which means you have more and more people trying to front run that strategy to actually make it work. And once you have enough money trying to front run it, it eliminates the actual thing from happening. And so we could see the same thing in Bitcoin here, where Everybody's expecting this similar amount of a bear market here, the similar size collapse as the past, and we don't get all the way down to 12,000 because everybody's thinking, okay, well, I'll buy exactly when it hits 12,000. So there's some people that buy a little bit before, and maybe it hits 12,000 for like a minute, but there's so much buying pressure around that area that it bounces right back up and doesn't stay down there too long. And we could see another prolonged sideways market in Bitcoin here where it stays somewhere in between 12,000 and 20,000. Absolutely. In my opinion, the safest place to start buying Bitcoin is at 20,000 down to 12,000. I buy Bitcoin every single day. I use Swan Bitcoin to do this. They're the sponsor of today's video, and they're the safest, cheapest, easiest way to do this. They'll auto withdraw your Bitcoin to any wallet you choose. And if you use my link in the description below, you will get $10 worth of Bitcoin just for signing up. But if you start to buy Bitcoin underneath 20,000 down to 12,000, you start to buy lower and lower, and you get that discount. If you buy it at 19,000, it ends up going to 12,000, especially if you're just dollar cost averaging on the way down, you're not going to be upset. But if you wait for it to hit exactly 12,000 and then it fires right back up, then you'll probably be upset for missing out. So in my opinion, the risk to reward ratio is better skewed in your favor by buying it on the way down past 20,000. And it could bottom here and it could go up from here to be able to have some more purchase down at those levels. We haven't seen the price down there in so long that it's like nothing has changed fundamentally about Bitcoin. Odds are that in a couple of years, it is a lot higher than it is today, many times higher. The asymmetric bet is still there. So in my opinion, in between 20 and 12, and especially if it hits 12, I'm backing up the truck. I am loading up. That is a fantastic price for Bitcoin. As always, I really appreciate you guys. This is not advice. Do your own research. This is not a recommendation for anybody. Make your own decisions. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.